All right, Andrew Eason here from the ESUCC, and I'm grateful to Chadron Public Schools for really bringing their entire administrative team here to visit with us on the topic of the strategic use of support staff during remote or hybrid learning. Sometimes we have some staff or some teachers at home, and so how are we using that support staff strategically during those times? And so I want to welcome Ginger Meyer and Libby Ewing, Jerry Mack, Bill Cogdell, and Nick Dressel to our conversation. And so to pose that question to you, Ginger, what has been done in Chadron Public Schools to strategically use support staff during these times?
Well, last spring, we strategically used them actually as cleaning and maintenance for the most part, so that they could make sure and get that paycheck protection. And we probably have never had a better looking building. But I know we also use them in the support role in some of the education. And that's why I wanted the principals here, because they're the ones that have been in the trenches and they know exactly what's been going on here at Chadron. This is my first year here, so I wanted the experts here.
Yeah, so in an academic capacity, what have you principals seen and thought to do to implement, within your buildings? Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so last spring at the middle school, we used our paras in breakout rooms in our Zoom sessions just to provide that extra level of support, especially for our students who are on IEPs. So the teacher would go through and present the lesson, and then they would take a group, and we would have a couple of paras do breakout groups. So we were essentially doing small group learning for those students who had remote access to the internet. You know, I think the challenge was for those students who didn't have internet access at home, or reliable internet access at home. We weren't really able to reach out to those kids given we were closed. But overall, at the middle school, it was really successful in those small breakout rooms. The students, you know, they were able to finish the work that was assigned and get that extra help that they needed. It actually helped a lot with attendance too, because they had to log in and show up, you know, and so that was a positive thing.
Yeah, terrific. And Libby, what did that look like in your context?
So at the primary building, we had a lot of our paraprofessionals, like Ginger said, helping to clean, paint, kind of spruce things up, but we were not able to do remote in the sense of having our students be able to log on. With the age of our students, we had paper packets that we distributed to families. So our paraprofessionals and our support staff helped in distributing meals. Often they would be the people that would actually take those deliveries to homes, as far as some of our paper packets and some of our learning. And really just to keep those relationships alive, we would line up our ramp when they would do the meal and the packet pickups, and they would be out there greeting kids and saying hello, gathering those packets, making sure at that time we just didn't have a knowledge of what things were really looking like with the virus. So we had like containment people that would contain those packets coming back, and just did a lot of the support pieces so that our teachers could work on the planning. And then moving forward with our greater school improvement plans, we were able to have teacher meetings while support staff was doing some of the other extraneous pieces that we had out there.
Terrific. And that is, you know, there's just so many needs at this present moment that I'm sure that there are tasks out there if we just kind of flexibly think about how we might, best utilize the support that those staff members are able to provide. Bill, Jerry, anything that hasn't been maybe discussed at this point that you would like to kind of round out as ways in which you were able to utilize your support staff? Well, we have to unmute maybe real quick for Bill.
Sorry, let me try that again.
Yeah, no problem.
A lot of the things that we did at our building, this is grades 3 and 4, would be similar to what they did in the primary building. A lot of support with the teachers with those packets, making those packets available to the students, and passing those out with our drop-off and pickup zone where we delivered the meals and whatnot for families as well. And so, and they helped a lot with our building cleanup. By the time end of May came around, our buildings were actually ready for school in the fall. We had new paint job and cleaning, and a lot of helping with the teachers with a lot of the planning that we were trying to do, because we really didn't know what things would look like. So we had a lot of options, a lot of different plans out there and ready to go.
Terrific. And Jerry, anything to kind of round out our conversation?
I'll just add, at the high school level, and we're talking about the spring of 2020 when everyone in the state was remote. We were fortunate, like most schools this fall, to be in person. But in the spring of 2020, high schools have to make these decisions. Do you just go with core classes? Because we have all these fine arts and applied arts. And so what we did at Chadron High School is we offered any class that the teacher felt comfortable in offering, which meant we really had to use our support staff, our paraprofessionals, just like they were, whether it was in a fine arts class or applied arts or whatever, foods and nutrition or those kind of classes. And so we were doing, and I think Mr. Dressel mentioned it earlier, the teachers were zooming in. Remember back in March, actually the first part of April, the most important thing we thought probably wasn't academics. It was just to get the teachers' voices and faces in front of these kids that have been home. And it was kind of a scary environment. And what we found out real quickly is that was the added advantage of a paraprofessional staff as well. So in between a whole lot of other job duties that they're now doing in the building to kind of for the paycheck protection of food distribution and all that, they were doing the breakout sessions on those Zoom meetings with the teachers. And so these students that were sitting at home, we had to figure out quickly, okay, by policy, we really don't want one-to-one Zoom meetings. And so we would put our paraprofessionals in one room together, and they're each Zooming with their own individual student. And you got that individual face-to-face. I get to see my para. I get to see their face, hear their voice. So I think the other side of not only the academic support, which was not our priority, it's that social emotional support was just huge. And that our support staff was just a huge part of that for us.
Yeah, and I hear that so consistently across all the responses here, just that whether it's curbside or via that video conferencing, that maintaining that visible presence and fostering those relationships is just so critical and challenging to do in that space. And so I want to thank everybody for your insights and your time. This group will be back for another conversation here shortly on a different topic. So make sure that you check that out along with the resources provided on this page to extend some of the conversations that you've heard here today. So thanks.